Question: what do you do when you just can't hit a driver? You've tried different heads, different shafts, different lofts, different flexes, different lie angles, all sorts of different options. Nothing is working. And in order to fix it, I had to build my own solution. So let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to the Mobile Club Maker. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So I have a confession to make. My driver and we are in a toxic relationship. It's not good for either of us, and it's been this way for a very long time. Now, I've done everything that I've shown you guys before as far as fitting your driver to you, trying to maximize your distance and your accuracy. I've tried different heads, I've tried different shafts, different weights, different club lengths, different lofts, different hosel settings. I've tried every possible conceivable option, and none of them really work. I think in the end, it really comes down to that 460cc head size. Even 440cc's is just too big for me. For some reason, that head size is just a distraction. I lose feel for where it is in my swing. It just doesn't work, and it's very inconsistent. So sometimes I can go out there and I can hit it great, but other times it's a complete disaster. So I went online, did some research, I did some tinkering, and what I've come up with, I think, is the perfect tee-off, utility, all-around golf club for my game. And I think it might be something that can help you as well if you struggle with your driver. And here it is. What I've got is a Callaway Maverick Max 3-wood head. This is the 3 Plus, that's the strong 3-wood, the 13.5 degree lofted 3-wood head. So you could call this maybe a 3-wood, it's not quite. You could call it maybe a mini driver, again, it's not quite. I really refer to it as a 2-wood because it's a little lower lofted, it's a little bit longer, and this thing is a beast. Let me break down for you exactly what each of these component pieces are and why I chose them. So first off, as you can see, the club head, this is a Maverick Max 3-wood head. Now, why did I go with this Maverick Max 3-wood head? Well, the first thing I wanted was a lower lofted 3-wood, so 13 to 13.5 degree. This strong 3-wood, this 3 Plus, is 13.5 degrees. Now, there are other 13 or 13.5 degree fairway woods out there, but the thing that this one has that those don't is a much larger head. This is 200 cc's as far as your total volume for the club head versus most of the other ones at most are going to be around 180 and most are closer to really 170. So this is at least 10% bigger than the next closest thing. So you've got the lower loft and you've got the bigger head. On top of that, what I also really like about this one is it has a much flatter profile from crown to sole. So the face height is much lower. That gives me a lot more versatility if I want to hit it from different places. It also just makes the head that much bigger looking when you set it down. So I bought this club stock with just the regular stock shaft that it came with. I tried it like that, just sort of as proof of concept to see, is this going to be something that might work? Am I going in the right direction? And I got very favorable results from it. But the shaft was a little bit short, it was a little bit lighter than I wanted. So I started looking at what shaft should I replace it with. And what I ended up going with is this. Project X Hazardous Blue Smoke RDX. All those run together in some sort of different combination of words and letters. But what it is right here, the smoke blue is basically what you can refer to it as. Okay, so why did I pick this shaft? Well, basically because I was making a 2-wood or something closer to a driver, I really wanted more of a driver type shaft. So I went with more, for me, what is driver weight, which is low 60s as far as the weight goes. I went with a shaft that I knew I could play a little bit longer, both because of the weight. It's also slightly counterbalanced, so playing it at 44 inches will balance out a little bit easier. And then from there, I made sure to tip it a little bit more. I took a little bit more, cut a little bit more off the tip section. Again, because I'm playing it longer, because it's a heavier 3-wood head versus a driver, I wanted to make sure that the shaft could support that heavier head. So a little bit more tipping, a little bit longer, and this shaft was a perfect fit with this head. Okay, now for the grip, my grip, again, this is a little bit different from what I am normally using. All my other grips on my irons and my wedges are all slightly oversized, 1/64th over standard, which is basically an extra wrap or two of grip tape underneath them. But for this club, I went with a mid-size grip. Now, why did I go with a bigger grip? Well, knowing my game and knowing my driver game, my big miss is always, or has always been, an over-the-top, close the face, screaming left shot into the woods. So that's the shot that always gets me in the most trouble. The ball just goes straight left. So I wanted to try and minimize that, quiet my hands down a little bit, make it a little harder for me to be flippy and flip my hands over and close that club face. So I went with a little bit bigger grip, which I know for me at least, and for a lot of golfers, can quiet your hands. So a mid-sized grip allows me to make a good aggressive swing and not really have to worry about whipping it closed, turning my hands over too fast, and losing it way to the left. Also, another benefit of this is it kind of balanced out the club, because as it sat before with this added 3/4 inch of length that we added to this club, it made the swing weight a little bit heavier. Now, I could adjust or take out some of these little screws and put different screws in, and I played around with that. But when I actually put this bigger grip on here, it basically balanced out the feel and it felt right to me. The swing weight was right around D2. Now again, this is sort of artificial swing weight because it's based partially on this heavier grip, but it felt right. It felt good when I was swinging it. So I ended up moving back and just staying with the stock. I think it's 14 grams in the back and 2 grams here on the heel for the weighting. So I've now taken this club to the range and I've hit it on a few occasions, and I've also now taken it out to the course. And I have to say, this combination has really performed exactly like I wanted it to. It is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And the best part about this, beyond just the consistency that I'm getting, greater accuracy and more consistency in knowing that the ball is basically ending up in the same spot every time, is I'm really not even losing any real distance versus my driver. When I've been clocking my swing speed and ball speed with my driver, and I've done this on a few different occasions now with the driver versus this 3-wood. With this club, my club head speed basically has been sitting between 103 and 105. So I'm losing maybe a couple miles an hour, but I will take a couple miles an hour less if it means I can hit the ball on my next shot as opposed to searching for it in the woods, which is what the problem was before. Probably the best thing about this club is not only did it perform well on the range, but that actually translated and carried on to the golf course. So when I played this club this weekend on the course, it performed every bit as well as it did on the range, every bit as long, every bit as accurate. But what I really love about this club is that it has that bigger profile, that bigger look when you set it down, which allowed me to make this shaft longer and not feel like I was looking at a little, pinhead at the end of a shaft. This still looks like a big, easy to hit, forgiving club. So if you are struggling with your driver, if you are struggling with consistency, with accuracy, with getting the ball in play, even though these drivers are supposed to be the biggest, easiest, most forgiving clubs in the bag, and for some people they are, but I think a lot of people still struggle with drivers. And if you do, and you don't want to go all the way down to just hitting 3-wood off the tee, I would really recommend looking for one of these bigger, oversized headed 3-woods that you can basically turn into a 2-wood. Heck, what I think would be great is for Callaway to go ahead, bring another one of these 200cc heads back, go make it 13.5 degree loft, put a 2 on there, make it a little bit longer, and just sell it as a 2-wood. I think they would sell a ton of these. But until that happens, you're going to have to sort of scrape it together yourself. So find a bigger, more forgiving head, find a lower loft if you can. If you can't, find one that's either adjustable or find one of the bigger headed ones that maybe has a higher loft on it, but make it a little bit longer with a lighter weight shaft, get it out to the course, and see if that doesn't help you hit more consistently, longer, straighter, have more balls in the fairway, and make the game a lot easier. It worked for me. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please go down below, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. Also, I am on Patreon. You can find me at AJ Golf if you want to support me there. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me at Mobile Clubmaker. Hey, I have got some really exciting stuff coming up. Very soon, I'm going to be building a set of tour issue irons. Also got a club repair video that you are not going to want to miss coming up in the next couple weeks. Until then, take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.